Good. Okay. Okay, Reb Rafe is not here, but we'll continue learning Lili Nishmas' wife. Chaya Bela Masha Bas Yaakov Yisrael HaKoyim in the Shloshim for his wife. Okay, so we're continuing and the sugya of Taman Be'esh, right? So we said it's a machlekes in the Mishnah whether if you make a fire in somebody else's house, so then it's according to everybody. If he has some utensil hiding under the grain, it's not a problem, right? I mean, it's a problem. You mean you're not potter, but the machlekes was if you lit a fire in your own property and then it spread to your neighbor's property and there was something hiding under his grain, whether that's his responsibility or not. So we had that machlekes. So now the Gemara goes on a few examples of this. Yeah, so with 4 lines down from the top on Samach Beis Amud Aleph. Right, so Ma'adir Rabbi Yehuda l'Chachamim. Right, so the machlekes was Rabbi Yehuda Chacham. Rabbi Yehuda held, right, Rabbi Yehuda in the previous Mishnah, right, held that you have to pay for Taman Be'esh, and the Chachamim meaning anything hidden under there. Excuse me, and the Chachamim held not. So Ma'adir Rabbi Yehuda l'Chachamim. The Rabbi Yehuda was Ma'adir Chachamim b'mashal makam l'chaver l'hagdash kodesh. Let's say a guy lends a spot in his field. You know, you go over to your neighbor and say, I need to pile up some grain in your field. V'higdish and v'hitman, and the guy, so he comes into your field because you let him, and he piles up his grain and he hides something. We said a phone. He hides a phone under there, and then I go make a fire. Then ein mashalim ela to make gadish bavad. I only have to pay for the gadish, right? The reason why I have to pay for the gadish is because I gave him permission to put it into my property, but I did not give him permission to be hiding phones under the pile of grain. So therefore, Rabbi Yehuda would be minded in that case, in that situation, that you don't have to pay. That he doesn't have to pay for the thing that's hidden under the grain. Another case, lahagdish chitin v'higdish sayrin. If the guy gave him permission to put wheat and he put barley, sayrin v'higdish chitin, or barley and he put wheat, chitin b'chifan b'sayrin, or he put wheat there, but then he covered it with barley. Sayrin b'chivan b'chitin, or he took barley and he covered it with chitin. So basically, he was hiding things, right? And then the owner of the field made a fire and burned this guy's stuff down, saying, he only has to pay for the barley, right? Right, because that's essentially that's the normal thing. All right. Fine. So those are
that's the cheapest. That's the cheapest.
That's the cheapest, right? That's the cheapest way out.
Not because of,
well, right, not because of it's just right. It's the cheapest way out. But I'm wondering, and if he specifically gave him permission for wheat, then l'chayra it's a problem. Then he would have to be chai, right? We're talking about where he gave him permission to put things. Well, it says lahagdish chitin. Right? In the first case, why is he paying for Sa'irin? Oh, because it was Sa'irin. It was Sa'irin. You don't have to pay for chitin. Right? The shaila is what's the chiddush there? Okay, whatever it is, those are 4 cases. Amar Rava, Hanais and dinar zav leisha. If a guy, I don't know why.
It sounds like a kanas on the guy. He didn't do what he had made up to do. So whether he covered the chitim with the orim, or he covered the orim with the chitim, we only make the balabas pay for the orim. But it sounds like it's a kanas on the.
You think so? It's a kanas. Well, because he messed it up.
Because he only has to pay the least amount.
I hear. Well, maybe that's what I'm saying. I don't know why he should get a kanas.
He's paying for the whole volume of the least, or he's just paying for that portion, which is the barley.
Whatever the volume of the stuff that he destroyed, no?
Oh, that's what I'm missing. That's what.
I think so. I think
Okay,
so.
fine.
Yeah.
It's Yaakov. They
Yeah.
bring down a Sma that asked that question on the first case.
What? Which question?
Like it's Dvarim Shutim that you pay siren if there's siren.
Right. That means why should you pay? Right. Why would you pay more? They bring that down.
Yeah, so you say that the Sma learns up, but the case could be talking about where you hid like tools inside. And the question is, you have to pay. Normally, you have to pay within that space. You don't pay for the tools. You pay for the space of the tools. Maybe you would have to pay chitim because that's what you originally intended to put there.
Uh-huh.
And the chiddush is you still pay siren even for that space.
Interesting. Okay, because for the space, okay, very good, thank you. Okay, so then the next case, now it says dinar zav leisha, right? So, but l'chayra leisha is lav dafka, right? Meaning a nice dinar zav leisha. Somebody gives a piece of gold to a woman. V'amrla his hari by shel kesavu. Be careful, this thing is made out of silver. So he fooled her. She thinks she's watching silver, really it's gold. So hizikasa, if she damages it, misham lemes dinar zav, she has to pay a gold coin. Mishum damar Allah, because the guy. They could tell her, "My have a look." Abai Daska said, "What do you care what it is? It wasn't yours to damage. Why are you damaging it? Oh, don't come to me and say that you damaged it because you knew you thought it was silver and you didn't know it was gold. Who cares? You shouldn't have damaged it. So whatever it was, it was. Even if I lied to you and told you that it was silver, you still have to pay for it gold. That's if she damages it. Pasha boy. But let's say she was just a pesheya, so the mishalemes shel kesef, then she only pays kesef. Meaning, if she was negligent in watching it, then she only has to pay silver. Why? You told me it's made out of silver, so I watched it as if it was silver. It's not as chashiv as gold. I wasn't makabel on myself to watch gold. Gold is much more expensive. I would have been much more careful. Right. So in that case.
I mean, silver's pretty chashuv also. There's less of a watching if it's silver over gold.
I guess so. I mean, nowadays gold is worth a lot more, no?
Yeah, so it's 10 times what it's
Right.
worth.
So I'm saying, I imagine somebody is good.
Gold is 2023 an ounce today. Silver was $23 an ounce.
That's what I said.
Wow.
It's 10 times.
Wow. It's 10 times. Wow.
10 times.
Yeah.
It's even more than bigger spread than the Costco blueberries versus the season blueberries.
That's gold, though. You're comparing. Yeah. So l'chayr, somebody drops you off silver, you're not going to watch it with the same zrizas as gold.
Less of a shmira, right?
Right. Yeah. You
But
didn't.
Byron,
You didn't.
the season's blueberries, I think it's called fool's gold. That's a different type of gold.
Okay.
Yeah. You didn't take the gold package of Shmira. That's what it is. You need the gold package, not the silver package. Right? So Amarle Ramardcha Ravashi. So Ramardcha asked Ravashi. Ramardcha is not a common name, correct? Am I? First of all, I think it's anniversary. No, we're starting Aaron. I was waiting for you to say it.
I thought it was last night, and I wasn't sure, but I think it's got it tonight.
I think right. So it's it's the fourth year, right?
4 years. 4 years.
4th year. Wow.
4 years.
I thought it was last night also. I think it's
I thought
last night.
I thought it was last night, Jacob.
I don't remember. I poked it, dropped into my head now.
Anniversary of what?
Starting this cycle
Well,
of
we started
shots.
this year. I think Jacob,
Yeah.
that's not the finish. Finish is saying who's on from the beginning.
Okay, there you go. Who heard of Zoom?
Right.
No, you really want to have a good memory. We did not start with Zoom. We
It
started
wasn't Zoom at the beginning.
Yeah,
we started with WebEx.
And then blue jeans.
Blue jeans, right? Blue jeans. Hakeem will never forget. Hakeem is never going to forget Parrots found blue jeans.
Yeah, blue jeans. And we're all of us, none of us bought Zoom stock.
That's right. I don't even
one
know.
of us.
It's a good talk about gold. I don't know. Was it good stock?
During COVID.
No, it became a regular tool now. Cards. Everybody's using it in business. This, that.
Yeah.
Can I
I
can I
thought
ask why would somebody?
Avi Khan was telling me tonight that he says he remembers when we first started. He was explaining to me what Zoom. I was explaining to him what exactly Zoom is. He had no idea.
Interesting. Yeah, what are you saying, Yoni?
Why would first of all, you're in Florida?
Yes, I met your son last night.
Yeah, he
I
told
was
me.
waiting till after the shir to tell you. Yeah.
Wow, thank you. Sorry, I missed it. Why would someone say, "Oh, this is a silver coin"? Why would they hide the
Why is he
fact that?
doing this?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
and also, what kind of shaver is this? You can't
Because
tell.
he knows her brother is a crook.
It's not. He didn't give it to my sister, but okay.
Okay.
So he wouldn't bother stealing silver, but he would bother stealing gold.
Right.
That's why I understood that they weren't so trustworthy. Which you see, they say, she answers back. I only gave you the silver package of Shemirah, not the gold. So we're not talking. Right, we're not talking about the world's biggest tzaddikus over here. I think, but I don't know. That's not as good a teretz as the kasha. That's what you really want to know. But again, it's lav dafka. It's not dafka, woman. It's just yeah. Okay. So
I
anyway,
thought when you mentioned anniversary, right after the words Remadcha, it's Remadcha. It's Rav Gifter's yard site tonight.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you're really on top of the yard sites.
He really doesn't like. By the way, Gershon.
Well, he lives in Cleveland, so he knows if you gift his yard site. No,
yeah.
But Gershon, the literature Rosh Hashivas don't get you off of Tachon. Fakir, you should be saying like Monday, Thursday.
Akiva, I was just gonna say that it doesn't help the Tachon.
No, they make you say more.
Yeah, I didn't say Tachman tonight in honor of his yard site.
It's such a nice guy.
Mamish. Anyways,
bring some food to your minion tomorrow morning. Then you'll be. Otherwise, what do you don't babble about?
It happens to be Gershon. You mentioned Gifter's yard site. I remember Gifter's Levaya in Darkhain. There was a snowstorm.
Taka.
Yeah.
No, I remember the Levaya Taka. I don't remember the snow part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did they bring him to Darkheim?
Near the airport?
The airport, Reisman.
I really remember the Leviathan. Tiago. If you remember the Leviathan, you know what I said.
No, I don't remember.
Well, Tiago, if anybody was listening to the Leviathan, didn't hear Rabbi Bender shout out.
When?
I'm not from Lakewood. It's a sakana. Don't push. People died last year. He got on the mic at the end of the Leviathan. I'm not from Lakewood.
Today?
Yeah.
Maybe he was hinting they should make him a shkiach.
Okay, I hear that. Maybe. That was the first
Yoni, very good, Yoni.
Yoni, is that why you started growing a beard? What?
Yeah, if Rabbi Bender moves to Lakewood, I might have to come back to Far Rockaway.
There you go. We might just need it.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So I'm gonna lay Rav Mordcha Ravashi. Just Rav Mordcha, I think, is an interesting name in Shas. I think. Alson, with the Rav Masnisula, you learned it by Rava. Meaning, you said over in the name of Rava this difference between whether she damaged it herself or she was negligent in the Shmira. And we can learn it out from a Mishnah. He's sort of telling you why you're going from an Amaira. We could even paskin this shaila from a Mishnah. Why? Because chitin b'chivin and masnisa is a bryce. I'm sorry. Chitin b'chivin b'sayrin. If you took wheat and it was covered over with barley, sayrin b'chivin b'chitin, or barley and covered with wheat. You only paid barley. Alma amrale. So we see that he could say to her, the owner that's watching it could say, I was makabel myself to watch barley. Right? And that's it. I'm not watching your wheat. I didn't care. I wasn't makabel myself to watch gold. I was makabel myself to watch silver. Fine. Omar Rav. So Rav said, Shamas Milsi Rabbi Yehuda, I heard something from Rabbi Yehuda, and I don't remember what it was. Right? Sort of sounds like me. Like, I remember Epis, I don't have no recollection what it is. Right? I'm very I can understand this. Right? So Amar Shmuel, so Shmuel told him, "Lo yada Abba, my Shmuel, and Abba doesn't know what he heard." So I don't think that Shmuel wasn't Shmuel. Who is this? It was going between Rav, right? Rav was not Shmuel's father.
That was his actual name, according to some sheets.
Right. So some say that was his name, and some say Abba was a chashuva name, like Rav. But I guess he couldn't use Rav, so you had to use Abba. Okay, whatever it is, but that's who it's in reference to. The Yehuda the Mechayev on this case Taman Be'esh, right? According to Rabbi Yehuda, who says that you're chayiv if somebody hides something under a pile of grain, so you're chayiv. So Atzu Takona's Nigzal Be'ishay, they made the Takona of Gezela with his fire. Meaning, there's a Takona that the Chachamim made by Gezela, right? Meaning normally you can't be makabel, you can't take any money unless you have Eidim. Right? You can't go collecting from people unless you have Eidim. The Chacham made a takana that if a guy swears that money was stolen from him, so then he's believed. So they said the same thing here. If somebody goes and makes a fire in his grain, a person's allowed to swear that he had some stuff hiding under there, and he's believed if he makes the shvur. Fine. So boy Amemar had a shaila. Also the kanas nigzel b'masor ayloy. A very interesting shaila, right? If somebody's a meiser, so we know the din of a meiser is that really you kill him, right? So what? And a meiser is because he's being mastering on somebody to the government. So is a person believed with a shvua how much money this guy mastered on him about, or not, that he would be required to pay. So I'll leave the mandamar loy dainin and dina de garmi. Okay, so before we do the Gemara, let's do a little hakdama. There's something called garmi, which is a how do you say it? It's a variation of grama. Grama is indirect. Garmi is something in between direct and indirect. It's like no man's land where it's it's your fault, but it's indirectly your fault, but not as strongly as indirect as regular standard grama, whatever that means. Exactly.
Why does that make an afkamin if it's a one step removed, Garmi, or?
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. There's all sorts of different ways to understand how Garmi is different than Grama.
Right.
It's all really a sugi at the end of the Masechta. Right. But anyways, so it's a machlokes whether Garmi even exists. Right. So according to Manda Omer that says we don't don with Dina de Garmi, so then loyti ba'ilach, then there's no question. The Mesiras Nami loydanin and we don't judge it because it's Garmi. Right? Meaning in Garmi, we're not going to. It's like a grama. So Mamela, when a guy is meister to the government, that's a grama or a Garmi. He's not directly answering. He didn't directly take the stuff and steal it. He told the government or whoever he told, who then went and took it away from this guy. Right? So according to the Shita that does not go with the whole concept of Garmi, there's no shaila that the meister is going to be put. Elakiti ba'ilach, the shaila is a leave the mandamar dainin dina de Garmi. According to one that says we do dina de Garmi. Also the kanas nigzal b'masad the mishtav shakal eloi. Do we make the same takana the same way by the one who gets stolen from? He could swear what was stolen from him and you will believe him. And so Mamela, by a meiser, we could also let him swear and then believe him. So Teku.
Nowadays, is this applied nowadays?
Oh, so I wanted to discuss
I'm saying, let's say you're meister on a play group or something.
Yeah.
And you caused to be shut down. Could they take you to the Din Torah?
See, the thing is, if it's a safety thing and it's a legal thing, and the government, there's an Aruch HaShulchan, it's in a parentheses in Aruch HaShulchan, I forgot what siman it is, that says that if it's a government that's officially fair, then there's no Masira. Right?
You remember my shaila in this one today. Reb David Cohen Paskin is the chiyuv to report on.
Well, yeah, what with but that's with like a construction thing, no?
No. This was the peanut allergy stuff.
Oh, the peanut allergy. Well, because
It
you
was
put somebody's
years.
life in right. If you put somebody's life in danger, then for sure you have to do it. But and like we saw yesterday also with the ovens, you have to have code. You have to, so somebody's not keeping to the code. So Reb David Cohen for sure holds that you could just go rat them out, or if they build, or what do you call it? They build out illegally. As far as I know, he holds that you could do it because officially that's meant for the safety or whatever, safety of others.
Even if a person means it for the Kamma as opposed to
that you have to get into. You have to get into his kavana, but that again, he bases it on an Aruch HaShulchan, as far as I know, that when it's an honest government, which it's not. See, that's the thing. Officially, it's an honest government, but
America
it's
is a medina shel chesed and a mishpat shel sdoim.
Yeah, well, it certainly can be.
How much money did they give Darchi this year, the government? What are you talking about?
He said it's a medina shel chesed.
Well, just because they gave Darche money doesn't mean that they love Darche.
Well,
they don't have to love you. I can buy you lunch and I don't love you either. So what?
You love me.
I said, Abba, it's a medina shel chesed and mishpat shel sdoim.
I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I'm not.
Aaron, Yoni's already prepping to become the Rosh Hashiva.
I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means. I don't know what it means.
If the parrots puts it on, what do you call it?
Everybody seems to know what it means. I have no idea what that means.
He means that the legal system is broken. I think that's what he means. You mean the legal system is broken?
Correct.
Yeah. So if you say that, then the Aruch HaShulchan doesn't apply. If not, then it does apply. Right. So that's
Right. The whole permit system is baloney. Everyone knows that.
Well, officially, it comes from a good place. There's fraud, like everything else.
At this point, there's a tremendous fraud. I'm saying, so like a guy who wants to be nicer on you after all the.
I don't know about you guys. I make a living off the permit system, so I wouldn't knock it so fast.
Hey, watch out! Yeah, yeah, because how much are the electricians greasing the politicians?
It's not just electricians, the whole doctor industry, like getting all your licenses, a bunch of baloney, all this stuff.
Yeah. Okay, whatever.
I told you a bacher was killed in Yerushalayim yesterday because they didn't follow the permits. So what are you guys all making these idiotic comments for?
No, but Etzem, we're saying but Etzem that the code is the side of the code is good, and then there's fraud. That's all. Unfortunately, there's fraud. Anyways, okay, weiter. Who Gavra? Yeah,
Byron, I just came from the plumbing store today. Just now, and they say, "Oh, where is it? Oh, Nassau County. You're allowed to use this type of tape for a gas line. New York City, you're not allowed to." I don't understand. It's a sakana. It's not a sakana.
Well, there's Chalukah days maybe, and what's a sakana? No,
they don't let. New York City is more restrictive. They want you to use this amount. Nassau County, it's like COVID stops at 10 o'clock. So what does that mean? Everybody has their own thing. They grease their own hand. This company said no.
I think
you gotta follow the science,
Parrots. You're missing information. You're missing information, and you're just guessing. Don't. You're missing
what information? They asked me, "Where are you installing it?" New York City. You're not allowed to use this product.
They asked you.
That's when you're in Nassau. You're allowed.
The way it's permitted. That's all. And if you want to know the reason, did you ask them the reason? No, you just think it because someone's smearing somebody. That's baloney. Come on.
Usually the NYC EPA, and they have more jurisdiction than they should.
Yeah.
Why is the Tesla roof allowed to be put up not in New York City, but outside
New York City? New York City is reactive to incidents. Something blows up, something falls down, so they make more regulations. Other places aren't like that as much. That's where it comes from. Something happened, the gas pipe leaked a little bit, so you can't use PVC in it. You can't use this, you can't use that. They're just reactive to situations.
Okay, but Be'etzem, they're looking out for the safety of people. And if somebody...
That's how the entire code is developed because of reactive.
Correct.
From the Triangle Shirt Factory, from all the big the MGM fire that happened 110 years ago. These are all reactive. They're all reactive to say, hey, what was the problem? What we could do?
No,
to
they don't
fix
know.
it,
They don't always know what the problem is. They just sometimes they go, oh, they
Most
use that, so
most
we won't use it anymore. That's it. It may not be the problem. They use PVC. Can't use PVC anymore.
I'm
I
saying,
don't
but
know. I don't know what you're talking about.
the aside is for safety. The concept is there, that and it wouldn't be an issue of a sira if you're trying.
What I'm saying is, watch out. He'll go after your houses if they have code violations. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, right. Yeah. So who gavra? Yeah, 5 wide lines on. Who gavra the batash bekaspasa de chavre? He kicked a kaspasa from the word kesef of his friend, meaning it's sort of like I don't know what it was. It's like a storage case, some sort of storage case. So Shaji ben Ara, he kicked it and then it went into the river. So also Mariva Omar came the owner and he said, Hachi v'achi havali begava. This is what I had in the box, and that's what you got to pay me for. Nobody knows what was in that box, right? The guy that got damaged claims I had, a Mickey Mantle baseball card in that box. So Ravashi looked into it. So what would be this case in this situation? Isn't this our Mishnah? The where somebody lights up a building, or what? A bira, a building. You have to pay everything that's in this. Because that's people keep items in a house. When you burn somebody's house down, the assumption is you're going to have to pay for whatever's in the house. Talk about fraud, Akiva. When I had my fire on Pesach, so I didn't know from anything from fraud. And these guys come in, the adjusters, and start throwing everything out, no matter whether it was usable, not usable, because then they're getting a piece of the pie. They threw out good couches that were not ruined, right? And then et cetera, and because they get a piece of the pie of whatever the settlement is going to be, right? So you have to know whether to trust. You have to know whether to trust the guy. What's in the house? It's all based on his say so. Because how's anybody going to know what was in his house? Which is what the Gemara now asks. Amarle, either Kata and Zuze. If he would have said that there's money in this box, okay, that's the normal thing to do. But he says, well, I said a Mickey Mantle baseball card, the equivalent. He says there was a marganisa in there, jewelry. So then, what's the din? We have to figure out, is it the normal thing to keep it in there? If it's a normal thing to keep jewelry in there, so this guy went and kicked it, so okay, so then he did something wrong and he's going to be chai. But if it's not the normal thing to put in this, and then it's considered taman. So teiku. So we say teiku. Fine.
So Yaakov,
meaning teiku what the guy's chai for. What?
In all the cases of taman be'esh, do we have to know ahead of time that it was in according to what he's saying now? If something's unusual, and we said according there's a tzad there, even if it's unusual, we have to know ahead of time that unusual thing was tam and beish to be mechayev you in that, or you have to have edim.
What do you mean of what was there, or
if it was an unusual thing? The Gemara discussed previously in the previous stuff. If you hit something, an unusual thing, something that's not normally to be under there. The Gemara discussed, according to Rabbi Yehuda, if you're chayav or not.
Right. So what are you asking?
So is that Gemara only talking about a case? If the fee where what I take it is now, is that Gemara only talking about a case? The Gemara not talking over there using a shua, I'm assuming. The Gemara over there, I'm assuming, is just talking about if you have Eidim and there's something unusual is under the
yeah.
The argument over here is saying clearly that anything that we don't know about, it has to be the usual thing. But the Gemara previously was talking about even unusual things being tam and beish, if you're chayav or not.
Right. So I think the Gemara is really only asking
if you don't know. You're saying people have over there. You have to have eidim.
Well, in a house, it's expected to have whatever you want.
No, the Gemara over there is talking about even not in a house, an unusual thing that was tam and beish. The Gemara.
You're talking about the bottom of the Rava. You said that, right?
Yeah.
So that's the machlokes with Rava. Yeah.
I'm just saying over there. Are we talking about a shvur, or are we talking about if you have eidim and a taka was there?
I'm not sure. Was it Adam or Shvu?
Well, if there's Adam, it's not so hidden.
Right.
I mean,
well, it's still hidden from the damager. It's not as hidden.
right. It would have to be that. Otherwise, why did the Gemara come out with Teku?
Right. I hear. This whole Gemara really has to be adjusted for that cheetah. I mean, I don't know the whole Gemara, but parts of this Amud adjusted for Rav. Right. That's the top Rashi. Okay, very good. So
well, it's an interesting teku. How often do you have a teku in Matthias? We just don't know whether it's normal to keep it something somewhere or not. Teku?
I was wondering, is that the teku? Or is the teku that we don't, is the teku that whether we're supposed to be ma'ayin in it or we just believe him?
Well, even if we do believe him, it doesn't matter. We have to know if it's normal or not.
Well, that's part of the Shaila.
Taisus learns the Gemara Shilas, even if we knew it was in the box, should a person have to worry about that when it comes to it being hidden?
Right. Doesn't matter if we know.
I thought it was all of the above, and then the take was going on
It's on the mazik, not on the on whether we know or not, or whether you can make a sure or not.
Right. I hear that.
Yoni. You there, Yoni? Your wife Zadie, they had a robbery in the house many years ago, and the Ganovim never got their money. They took it. He had all his mezumin in the freezer, and they took the cash. Yeah, the chayes. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Zadie Bunny. Yeah, way before you were on the scene.
Yeah, you can't accuse me of that one, right?
So I mean, if they made a fire and they burned down the freezer, so would that be considered? Would there be a chiyuv? Is that the normal place to keep cash? He's saying in a mattress, zicher normal, right? I mean, the phrase came from somewhere,
right?
Right. So the shaila is
in cold cash came from that. I don't know.
Cold cash, maybe. I hear. Okay, weiter. Amalei Rav Yemer Ravashi. Ton kosted the kasm of Maya. If a guy says he had a silver kois in a bira, what would be the din? Amalei Chazina. So let's look. If he's a well-to-do person, to Islay kosted the kaspa, he would have a silver kois. Inami inish mehemnahu, or he's a very believed fellow. Demifki in Shigabe, that people would let him watch the silver cup. So Mishtav v'shakal. So then he swears and he takes it. V'loi lav kol kamina, and if not, then we don't even believe him to swear. Right? So, yeah.
I have Hornus Wagner baseball card. When you said I have Hornus Wagner written like a borrow, but Baruch Hashem over here I have the Maril written down, right? Because they used to give him Maril. They said because he used to use it by the Seder.
By the Seder, he had all his things.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, Taka. Yeah. Okay. So weiter. So I'm a little Rav Havi the Ravashi. Ma ben Gazlan l'chamtzin. A new thing. What's the difference between a Gazlan and a Chamtzin? Right? By Noach. Right? They said was it by Noach? Yeah. Right. The door of the marvel was Chamtzonim. No, is that what it says?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, so what's the difference between a Gazlan and a Chamtzin? Amalei Chamtzin Yav Dami. A Chamtzin gives money. Meaning he wants a thing, he'll go over to you, and he'll drop a few dollars on your steps, and he'll take whatever it is that he wants. Gazlan lo yav dami. Gazlan just stamp steals it. So Amalei yav dami chamsen cars. If he gives money, he's called a chamsen. V'amar afuna telua v'zavin zvine zvine. If somebody gets hung up, right, meaning they hang him from a tree or something like that, until he agrees to sell his item. So it's considered sold. Yeah, so you see that a chamsen is not if it's considered as if he stole it. So then how could it be considered a ganav? So like how can it be considered wrong? I mean, it's wrong, but it's not going to consider it that something like he's a chamsen. Like kasha adam right sani hadalay amar right sani. He has to say he wants. If the guy that's being hung never says that he wants, right? But he just says, okay, give me the money or something like that. then it's that it's not considered. That's considered chamsen. But if the guy says he wants, then it's not. Then it's considered a sale. I can't say I understand that exactly.
He says that he wants you to take something from him without his permission and put money on the table. What does that mean?
No, we're talking about where you hang up the guy or you're beating him, right? And until he says right,
sell me your Mickey Mantle card. Take a gun and I say, sell me your card.
Right.
So, but I'll give you the money for it. Sell it to me, right?
Sure thing. If you're holding a gun to my head, no problem. I'll be happy to do it.
Right. So then it works. That's what it's saying.
It works. It doesn't work with Gittin, but it works with this.
Doesn't work. Correct. It doesn't work with Gittin, but it works for sales. Yes. Right. So So I'm not exactly sure. He says right, Sonny. What kind of right, Sonny, is that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, whatever it is. Unless you say he said right, Sonny, but he
maybe he's
really
masking. Maybe he's masking after you take it and give him the money.
That's what you have to say. That's what you have to say. You have to say right, Sonny is pshat that he really wants to give it, meaning they sort of convinced him. And he said, Taka, now that I think about it, now that you hung me up to dry, and now that I think about it, Taka, you take it. It's a good thing for me to sell.
Fine. I don't mind so much you took it, as long as you left me the money.
Right.
That's
right.
what it's
not. Sev, it's not market value. That's the chiluk between this and a business deal. It's not market value.
What are you giving him? You're
giving him money. You're giving him $1,000 instead of $20,000.
Is it? Is that? I wasn't sure about that
that's
either.
what
is that?
is. Yeah.
No, then he's a
Not that he
gazlan.
gave him market.
Why isn't he a gazlan? Right. Why isn't he a gazlan then?
Because he paid him.
You didn't pay him. Its value. So what does he?
He made a very sharp deal. You can make a sharper deal when you have a gun to the guy's head.
How does Abba know that it's not the value?
Because I know the mafia case that I wrote down. But in this year, nobody knows any of the names. So I'm not going to say
it. Yeah, I don't know how the mafia fits into this exactly.
Rabbi and Frankie 2 times.
It's not Frankie. No, it's not.
I know. I'm making a joke.
I don't know who you're talking about, but okay.
Aaron, I know some of the names, Aaron.
What?
I know some of the names.
All right. Okay, everybody get their l'chaims ready. Here we go. Yeah, on to the base now. Yeah. Okay, this next part's very easy. Gets, right? So it gets means a spark, right? So gets, she also metachas a patish vizik, right? Guy is hammering, sparks come out, and it goes and it damages. So chayiv, right? So he's chayiv because he has to be responsible for his sparks that shoot out. Gomel shayatan pishtan vaver b'shasaram. You have a camel that was full of flax, and it was going b'shasaram v'nichnas pishtani l'sayich chanus, and the flax went into the store, the dalgoy b'neira shel chanvini, and meaning it was an overloaded camel, went by the store owner's store. It got a hold of the candle, and v'hidlik as abira and burned the whole building down. So Baal Gomo chayav, the Baal Gomo's chayav, because he shouldn't have overloaded his camel. Hiniach chenvini neira b'mechutz, but if the chenvini put his candle outside the store, now he's the irresponsible one. So then a chenvini chayav, the chenvini is chayav because why is he putting his candle outside? Right? Rabbi Yehuda Omer b'ner Chanukah potter, but by ner Chanukah he's potter, right? Why? Because by ner Chanukah, because of the mitzvah, you have permission to keep your candles outside. So the guy should have been careful. So Zog the Gemara, Omer Ravina, Mishmei the Rava, Shmamina with Rabbi Yehuda. We hear from Rabbi Yehuda ner Chanukah mitzvah lanicha b'soy chasar. It's quite interesting, right? Where everybody knows that you're supposed to keep the menorah lower than 10 tefachim. Agav bisman hazeh, that we light in the window, there's no side for that. If you light in a doorway, though, it should be taka lit less than 10 tefachim. Right? Where does it come from? So from here, From here, you see that it's a mitzvah to put it within 10 tvachim. Why? Because if you think the menorah should go above 10, why Rabbi Yehuda ner Chanukah potter? Why Rabbi Yehuda say ner Chanukah's potter? He should have put the menorah higher than the camel and its riders. Meaning we're saying that with the menorah is potter. What do you mean potter? Put your menorah way up above traffic, so it won't get burned. Elamai, we didn't say that because it must be that he's required to put it under 10 tvachim. It's a mitzvah to put it within 10. The one answers Amri loy. So they said no, it's not a raya. You could even say that you're allowed to put the menorah above 10, and then this is a big yisoid here. My Amrit, what are you going to say? That you should put it. You should have put it above the camel rider. Since the person lighting the menorah is doing a mitzvah, so even though theoretically he could be yotze the mitzvah with putting it above 10 tvachim, kulei hai lo yachul rabbanon. The rabbanon don't want to make him have a tircha. They don't want to be matriach him. So even though theoretically the guy's trying to light a menorah, so yes, he could theoretically put it above traffic and it'll be much safer. But we're not going to be matriach him, right? And therefore, now why are we not going to be matriach him? Because what, we're afraid he's not going to do the mitzvah? Is that the pshat?
See, does this go against all your WhatsApp status tweets you're talking about when it came to Ner Chanukah? You go above and beyond when it comes to spending money.
It's not above and beyond. You have to spend every last penny, but that's
what I'm saying. So then we're making you spend every last penny, but we're not going to be matriach you that to go ahead and put it high.
Right.
I don't understand. How do those two things jive?
Because
because Akiva, I'm 75 years old, so you make me write a check. I'll write a check. I don't want to climb on a ladder. I'm 75 years old. I don't want to go up on a tall ladder. What? You don't see a difference?
I mean, we're literally making somebody who's destitute even poorer.
Why? He's potter for Nezek.
Yaakov, how far do you have to go when it comes to how poor you are and how much?
No, that's in order to do the mitzvah.
I'm saying, so once we're saying that you have to go to the nth degree to do the mitzvah, so the fact that we're going to tell you that you have to light a certain height, that's the graceful thing that we're going to start limiting.
I just gave you a good example.
So make a shliach. I'm just saying there are ways you can do it without that.
I don't hear your kasha because be'etzem one is to do the mitzvah, and the other one is to, the other one is just how crazy do you have to make yourself to do the mitzvah? You could be yotze in the mitzvah on the bottom, you know what I mean? So why make yourself meshuggah to climb on the top, right?
I mean, there must be a reason, otherwise why would we make you do it to begin with?
Right? No, that's true. It's true. I hear. But anyways, it's
more practical than that anyway. We're looking at it very one-dimensional, just a camel. But how much other damage can it cause? I'd have to go figure out every type of damage it could possibly cause and find out a place exactly where I'm going to put it. It's impossible to do. That's why it's Trikur Rabbanon.
Okay, I hear. It's very interesting though, because Lamaisa, the Gemara slugs it up. The Gemara thought it had a raya that the menorah has to be less than 10 tvachim. The Gemara slugged it up, yet we still pass in that way, right? Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, last Gemara in the Perek. So Amar of Kahana Darash of Nasim Bamenyumi Mishmedu Reb Tanchum Ner Chanukah Shenit V'Lamalam Yesr Mama Ner Chanukah that was above 20 amas psula. It's psula kesuka ukamavi, no different than a sukkah and a mavi. So those are puzzle. It's higher than 20 amas because you can't see it. So menorah is also puzzle if it's higher than 20 amas, because the whole point is seeing the menorah. And if it's higher than 20 amas, then you're not going to see it. So then, of course, you have Ramosha's tshuva about, okay, so what happens if you live way up in a building, right? So do you like the menorah there or not? So he says, yeah, because you have the people with buildings across. If you don't have buildings across, then the shaila is, do you think maybe their eyes follow it up? Like, let's say you have a menorah that starts, like those Chabad menorahs, it starts below 20, and then it ends up higher than 20. So does that work? Does that not work? Yeah. Okay.
But this is kind of a problem. This is kind of problem is really not like a sukkah and mavoy, because a sukkah and a mavoy you can just change the height of it and you're okay. Well, you're near Hanukkah, it's hadlaka or a mitzvah, not
Right.
hanacha.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Rahman was saying, like the other thing, you lower your sukkah, you're fine. Well, maybe it's maybe it's tasavul asri, right?
Toises, is that
so
the top?
No, he's saying something different, right? Or maybe not. Maybe that's what he's saying.
Why do you think
just saying?
Toises is saying, why are you saying it's possible? You could really move it. It's not possible, right?
That's not. I think Toises is asking on the terminology. Toises is just asking on the terminology. In Sukkah it says Yemai. It doesn't say possible.
Right.
He's just quoting the first Gemara in Sukkah.
He's asking why does the Gemara change its terminology? But
that's what the Gemara is in Sukkah.
Yeah. So l'chayra Rachum starts a good teretz. Can't say Yemayit because it doesn't work. Adlaka is a mitzvah. Is that what Taisus means actually? Yeah, that's what Taisus means. I was totally I was out to lunch. Exactly. I thought, okay, whatever. I was thinking something else. Yeah, very good, Rachman. Yeah, Muhammad to the Teretz and Taisus. Okay, Hadron Allah, Hakoinus, L'chaim. Does Jesse know that he's missing a L'chaim?
I don't know if he knows he's missing a L'chaim, but I think he knows what Meruba is all about.
Okay, next parak, getting into Geneva, right? So yeah, so all these orders, the order of the prakim are interesting. Exactly what or why they put in the specific orders. So tonight, Amud Aleph is pretty easy, and then after that, we get into the whole klal u'prad klal. I got to figure out the psukim. I tried to find a chumash that has all the psukim on the same page. There, it wasn't so matzliach, but I'm working on it for tomorrow's daf as Hashem. It'll be tomorrow's. I'll be very impossible to understand the Gemara without at least looking at the psukim, which I have serious PTSD from my elementary school days with it, because I remember like the Rebbe bringing out a chumash and learning. It's like, one second, I'm learning Gemara now, not chumash. Why do you make me meshugah? Right? And I just whatever. Anyways, okay, therapy session over. So but tonight this is not so hard. So meruba means it's greater. So just as a hakdama, there's something called kefel, which we've learned already a lot of times, that when somebody steals something and he gets caught, he's got to pay double. He's got to pay back double. So let's say he stole $100, he got to pay back $200. If he gets caught selling a sheep or a lamb or shechting it, then he has to pay 4 times. So if the sheep or lamb was worth $100, he's going to have to pay not 4 times more, meaning he'll have to pay 300 more, so a total of 4 times. And if it's a shar, then he has to pay 5 times. Right? So those are basically 2 ways. It's basically called kefel and dalid v'hei. That's the way it's pronounced. So kefel means double. That goes on anything, and dalid v'hei goes on if he shechted or stole. It's dalid 4 times for sheep and 5 times for shar. Okay, so meruba midas tashume kefel midas tashume aru chamisha. The kefel midah is more than the dalid chamisha midas tashume kefel leheges bein bedavar sheyesh beruach chaim bein bedavar shein beruach chaim. Kefel, you pay for anything, whether it's alive, whether it's dead. You pay back double. If you got caught stealing, you pay back double. It's only noyeg, like we said, with the shar, which is 5 times, says 4 times. If a guy steals a shar and he shechts it and sells it, right? And the rest of the pasuk says, Chamisha bakar yishalim tachas hashar, va'arba tzayin tachas haseh. Right, he pays 5 for the shar, 4 for the set. So that's the main thing the Mishnah is saying, that kefel works for everything, and dalid v'hei only works for a shar and a set. Ein haganav achar haganav misham teshume kefel. If somebody steals from a ganav, he doesn't pay kefel. Right? meaning a guy sees a guy stole something, and then he goes and steals it from him, and then he gets caught. He doesn't pay kefil. That's what it means. And not somebody who shechts or sells an animal after he takes it from a ganav. So, they don't pay dalid hay either. Okay. So Zok the Gemara. So the Gemara seems to say the Gemara is saying that the Mishnah only says one thing, that kefil is stronger than dalid behay. But the Gemara found a different one. The midah of paying back kefil is knowing whether the guy stole or whether he tainted that the guy stole. Now, tayin tainas ganav, and it's important to understand this for the next 3 days. Tayin tainas ganav is exactly what it sounds like. He said that it was stolen. Meaning, you have a guy who's a shayman. He's watching your animal for you. And then the animal disappears. You come to him and he says, yeah, somebody stole it. Right? And then it comes out that he lied. So does he also pay kefil or not? So from our Mishnah, right, it would sound like there's no difference between kefil, or if he says the guy went and sold it or shechted it, right? There doesn't say there's a difference. So l'chayra, he will be chayiv on both. So that's what the Gemara is saying. Ilu midas tashlume kefil ne'eges bein begana bein b'tayin tanis gana midas tashlume arvu chamisha eina ne'eges el begana bilvad. It's only noyeg by ganav, not by tayin tanis ganav. Meaning, the Gemara found a case, where there is a difference between kefil, you would be chayiv for tayin tanis ganav, and daled you would not be chayiv. So again, it's saying kefil, if the guy just lies and says it was stolen from him, he'll have to pay kefil. But like a tani, that it doesn't say. So must be it's a raya. If somebody says by a pikadon that it got stolen, he has to pay kefil. But we got shechted and stolen, and he has to pay arba v'chamisha. So you see that there's no difference, and they both have to pay kefil and dalad, and our Mishnah backs that up, because our Mishnah doesn't differentiate between the two. So therefore, must be our Mishnah agrees that it's the same. That's one way. If somebody says that it got stolen, he pays kefil. If he says it got shechted or sold, then so it's the same thing. So l'chayra Mishnah is a raya to this. So what answers mikatani ain bein meruba katani. It doesn't say ain bain, right? It just says meruba. Wasn't looking for differences. Ton of a shire and the ton of left out. Meaning it's not necessarily a raya that our Mishnah goes with the Chiya bar Abba's shita that there's no difference between kefil and arba chamisha by tayin tainus, right? By tayin tainus ganav. It's just the Mishnah is not discussing it. It left it out. Okay. Shemidas tashum kefil neheges. So we said that kefil is noyeg by everything. We know immediately. How do you know such thing as kefil? So this part's pretty straightforward. The Tanur Rabban al kol dvar pesha klal. It says that he's going to pay kefil for anything that he is chayav for. That's a klal. Just says al kol dvar pesha, on everything. Then it says al shor, al chamor, al se, al salm. So it says an ox and a donkey and a sheep and clothing. That's a prat. That's clearly a prat. Now it's whittling it down to those 4 things. Meaning only if he took responsibility, if he was responsible for those 4 things. And then it says al kol aveda, on anything that got lost. Now that's again a klal, right? So it said the word kol, then it said 4 specifics of shor, chamor, se, and salma, and then it said again the word kol. Right? So chaza v'kol, so then it went back and made a klal. So klal uprado klal, iatadon elakeina prat. When the rule with klal uprado klal is that it has the items that we're talking about have to be similar to the prat. Ma prat beforish davar mataltel v'gufay mammon, just like the prat is what is the prat? What's the common denominator between the four things? Shor, chamor, se, and salma that are said specifically. It's something that's movable, and its gufa is mammon. It's worth something. Afkol davar matal gufa mammon. So too, anything that's movable and its gufa is manu. Yatsu is worth something. Yatsu karkois that comes to exclude land. Sheina metalton can't be moved. Yatsu avodim come to exclude avodim shehukshu lekarkois that are comparable to karkois. Yatsu shtaris it comes to exclude documents she'afal pisha metalton and they are movable. Ain gufan mammon. They're not intrinsically worth anything. It's only the ink that's on there that says what's written in it, but the star itself is really worthless. And yotza hektish, and also comes to exclude hektish because re'eyuksiv, it says it has to be your friend's thing and nothing else. Right, so then the Gemara says, we'll just do a few more lines. Ima prat. So what about the prat? Maybe the prat. So there's something called the tumas nevela when a carcass is dead, a dead carcass is matam. So maybe shor chamor and seh you become tummy. So maybe only things that become tummy with touching and carrying. So af kol davar shenevilosim matam magma masa. Also anything that's it's nevela is matam magma masa. Well, oifas lo. Maybe birds not. Meaning, let's say a guy is given a bird to watch, so maybe they would be, and he denied it, or he stole it, he wouldn't be chayiv kefa. So when it says, can you really say that? For salma, what are you doing? The fourth prat is salma, which is clothing. So what does that have to do with tuma? So maybe the bird gets included in salma. So Gemara says, Amri anan b'balichaim kamrinu. We're talking about balichaim. We're not talking about salma, which is clothing. Ema b'balichaim davar shem v'losim matav magmasa. When the thing that the guy stole is a bal chayim, that's when it's matam magamasa. Ain't davar she'ein v'losim matam magamasa loy, but something that's does not become tame from magamasa. No, on tame base. Kol chad b'chad klalu prat ba'apei nafshei dashin alei, because each thing gets its own klalu prat, meaning shor and chamor, se, and salma, each one is its own prat, and each one gets its comparisons. Aval oifas loy, but birds not. So Gemara says, okay, the problem is that this is a run-on Gemara now for the next 3 blocks, pretty much, for the most part. Im kain nichtav rachman echad prata. So if you're saying that there's different pratim, so why you only say one prat? Okay, we'll have to stop here. We'll chazer it over this last Gemara again tomorrow, Bez Hashem. Okay, it's not so hard, I don't think, but whatever. It's going to require some work. Okay, let's say tell him. Pay Gimel. Yeah, Shir Mizmal Losof. Elem al Damilach Atechrash Vatishkat El Kineo Yevecha Yaman Masanecha Nasurash. Al Amcha Yarim Usaid Yisrael to Al Tunecha Amaru Lechuban Achidim Gavi La Yizach Hashem Yisrael like Yinois Ulev Yachta Valecha Bristi Chreis Alei Adam Yishmael Moyav Agrim Koel Volva Aman Vamalik Pleshes and Yeshe Tzar. Kamma Shor Nilva Imam Ha Yisrael of Nedlight Sela Selam Kimedion Kisisro Kayav Manachal Kishai. Yishmdu Vein Dar Hu Yidayim La Adamashi Sema Nidivema Ki Aire Vechazeva Chazeva Chuzamuna Kalni Sechemai Asher Amaru. Near Shalom West Noisalim Alehai Shisema Gagal Kikash Lefnei Ruach Keish Tevar Yorach Lavat Lahit Harim Kaintir Devem Besarechu Usafasal Zivalim Malay Fneim Kolim Vivakshu Shemcha Adonai Yivoshu Yival Vadeir Viachbru Viavedu Viedu Kiata Shemcha Adonai Lavadecha Al Yona Kol Oretz Achinu Kabeis Yisrael and Rasul Basar Vashiv Yam Demei Yom Vei Mavosha Makim Yirachim Aliyim V'Yitzem Mitzal Levachim Yefei L'Leira Meshibet Ligula Hashtar Bagalov is Makarib and Naimar Amen. All right. A good night, everybody.